Peacemaker is taking the world by storm, and the show is already one of my favorite things to come out of the DC Extended Universe. And with this violent hero gaining a new kind of popularity, it's a good time to take a look at the top 10 most powerful superheroes Peacemaker can defeat. Coming in at number 10, we have Matter-Eater Lad. One of the best parts of the Peacemaker HBO Max show so far has been seeing all of the out there references and Easter eggs that creator James Gunn has gotten away with making canon within the DCEU. And one of the most interesting references to another hero Peacemaker has met is Matter-Eater Lad. A bizarre Silver Age of comics character with the ability to literally eat anything, apparently Peacemaker has allied with this guy on a mission before, and has even seen him eat an entire restaurant. Given his knowledge of exactly how Matter-Eater Lad's powers work, it's a fair assumption that Peacemaker would be an ideal candidate if Matter-Eater Lad ever needed to be taken out. Just maybe don't let his mouth anywhere near your weaponry, Peacemaker. Coming in at number 9, we've got Frank Castle, aka the Punisher. Although they may come from different comic book universes, comparisons between the Punisher and Peacemaker are pretty easy to make, with both characters having a warped perspective on justice compared to many superheroes, and both characters also having a particular love for firearms. The thing that sets these two characters apart, however, is that Frank Castle still has a line he won't cross when it comes to cleaning up crime, and would never willingly hurt a child. Peacemaker, on the other hand, is supposedly so committed to his cause that he doesn't care how many men, women, or children he'd need to kill for peace. And this willingness to cross a taboo line that even the Punisher wouldn't cross might just bring Peacemaker out on top. Coming in at number 8, we have Vigilante. While Vigilante and Peacemaker might be an odd pair of friends with a weird but accepting relationship on the show, in the comics, they're usually portrayed as much more straightforward rivals. Possessing no superpowers but a master in all sorts of weaponry and martial arts styles, Vigilante and Peacemaker are usually pretty evenly matched when they're positioned against one another by opposing forces. But given the extra abilities given to him by his variety of helmets, Peacemaker has just a few more tricks up his sleeve than his sometimes partner, sometimes rival. Coming in at number 7, we have Bat-mite. Another character made canon in the DCEU by an offhanded reference, Bat-mite is a troublesome imp from the same fifth dimension as the Superman villain Mr. Mxyzptlk. Except this guy is a huge Batman fanboy and loves to be a giant nuisance to the Dark Knight. Given Peacemaker's annoyance of being compared to such a tiny and infuriating character, it seems likely that he'd try to find a helmet specifically to take on a fifth-dimensional villain, which sounds ludicrous, but we've already seen that Peacemaker's father has space warping technology in his secret supervillain bunker. Whatever the case, Peacemaker's brand of violence would definitely be a shocking change of pace for the character of Bat-mite, so maybe the imp should watch his back after getting mentioned on the show. Coming in at number 6, we have Aquaman. As a superhero, Aquaman was a bit of a joke character for a long time before more recent incarnations have begun to successfully inject just the right amount of seriousness to the character. However, that doesn't stop Peacemaker from saying some not safe for work things about Aquaman on the show, and given both John Cena and Jason Momoa's amount of muscle, that would be one hell of a showdown to see. When asked in a promotional interview if Peacemaker could beat Aquaman in a fight, John Cena replied that Aquaman's fitness was one of the only superheroes that gave him pause. However, given how the Peacemaker team was able to handle a gorilla in last week's episode, maybe animal superpowers aren't the best defense against a hero as violent as Peacemaker. Coming in at number 5, we have Rick Flag. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen James Gunn's The Suicide Squad yet, but one of the better twists of the movie and the reason Peacemaker's solo series was such a surprise is because Peacemaker was such a fantastic villain in the film. Ordered by Amanda Waller to prevent information on Starro from getting out to the public, Peacemaker is forced by his twisted moral code to fight and eventually brutally kill a hero he admired, Rick Flag, who is disgusted that he got beaten by a man such as Peacemaker. It's a pretty devastating death scene in an otherwise pretty comedic movie, and unlike other hypotheticals on this list, we got to see all too well that Peacemaker can definitely beat Rick Flag. Coming in at number 4, we've got what's sure to be a controversial pick with Spider-Man. No, these two characters have never crossed over and interacted before, but if the corporate overlords ever allowed it, I'm not sure I would bet on Spidey. Peter Parker would obviously not agree with Peacemaker's brand of justice, given how often he gets into conflicts with other violent vigilantes like Punisher and Daredevil, and would likely try to defeat Peacemaker if they ever met. However, unlike most heroes, Peacemaker wouldn't be startled by the fact that Spider-Man is just a teenager. As we mentioned before, Peacemaker is willing to fight and kill anyone in the name of peace. And this means the usual moments that older members of the Avengers would have of expressing worry at Spider-Man's youth would mean absolutely nothing to Peacemaker. So, hope your spider sense still works, Peter. Otherwise, Peacemaker is coming for you. Coming in at number 3, we have Batman. Unfortunately, due to YouTube's monetization policies, I can't repeat any of the colorful language that Peacemaker uses to describe Batman on the show, but it's safe to say that Peacemaker isn't a fan, whether out of genuine dislike or because of jealousy at the fact that Batman is apparently a much more beloved figure in the DCEU now. Whatever the case, Batman actually would have a hard time dealing with an individual like Peacemaker because of the vast difference in their vigilante styles. Batman refuses to kill, whereas Peacemaker is all about killing in the most over-the-top and gratuitous ways possible. Whereas Batman would be trying to capture Peacemaker alive, Peacemaker would be willing to blow up an entire building just to fry the bat. And while you can argue about the morals of being a superhero, Peacemaker's brutality just might take the win here. Coming in at number 2, we have Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. In a way, the modern incarnation of Peacemaker can be seen as a commentary on patriotic superheroes like Captain America, showing just how terrifying someone willing to do literally anything for their country or ideology would be if they also dressed up in a colorful helmet and costume. Whereas Captain America has been shown to become introspective on what justice actually means, and whether following his country is always the right option, Peacemaker is Cap's patriotism taken to the extreme, and who knows just how far he'd take that in a fight if the two of them ever had to meet. And finally, coming in at our top spot, we have the one and only Superman. I once again can't repeat what Peacemaker said about Superman on the show, but needless to say, these two would likely not get along. And while it seems easy to say that someone like Peacemaker could never hope to even injure Superman, the DCEU might actually beg to differ. The Suicide Squad movie makes a big point of noting how similar in skills and backstories both Peacemaker and Bloodsport are. And while Bloodsport ultimately wins their final shootout, both of them appear to essentially have perfect aim. And with Bloodsport being confirmed to have been locked up in the first place for putting Superman in the ICU with a special bullet, who knows just how badly Peacemaker would mess up Kal-El if he ever got his hands on some kryptonite ammunition. That's all the time we have for today's video, so thank you all so much for watching. As always, I've been Josh Busker, and I'll see you all next time, Nerd Squad.